Hi, ladies. I'm Orchid Tao, dating and empowerment coach and host of this free Attract the Right Man masterclass series for single, successful women who want to fix their man picker, get pursued by quality men, and ultimately have healthy love with the right emotionally available man. And today, my beautiful guest is love coach Teal Elisabeth. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you, Orchid. I'm so glad to be here.
Wonderful. So, tell me, I know you love talking about this. What is the difference between masculine and feminine energy?
All right. Jumping right into it. I love it. No time to waste. Yes. Well, for those of you who are just new to exploring this whole world of personal development and new perspectives of dating, I just have to tell you, your mind is going to be blown. That's how it was for me.
Absolutely. So much.
Seriously. For me, the biggest difference between masculine and feminine energy is this shift between trying to date and approach men and relationships from your head versus approaching it from your heart. And that big epiphany really, really 180'd everything for me in my relationship. And it was in that moment when I said, oh my gosh, why are we not taught this? Like, why is this so hard to discover? Why am I just discovering this now? When really it is such a powerful, just connection and harmony that brings healthy relationships. So I'm glad we're talking about it.
So tell me what it looks like to approach a man from your head versus from your heart. And this is really interesting because I'm sure you're going to say something totally profound. And, a lot of the teaching out there is, hey, women date too much from their heart and on emotion, or usually because of chemistry and attraction, and not using enough of their head, not using enough of their reason and their ability to stay grounded and really qualify somebody. So can you show the differences?
Ooh, yes. Great question, Orchid.
Mm-hmm.
So this really, to me, is a distinction in terms of much more around the way we perceive emotions. And I think a lot of times when we think about emotions and we think about feminine energy, we think about feminine energy as being emotional. And so a lot of times as women, we get caught up in being very emotional in the way that we date and feeling a lot of emotions and just like getting swept up in the emotions. And it's exhausting, right? And it's an emotional roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
So, but really that's not true feminine energy in its power and in its strength. True feminine energy, it comes from a much more place of grounded self-awareness in who you are. And from that calm inner strength, you're able to actually just relax. And as I love to call the work that I do, relax into love. And so when we approach dating from being in our feminine energy, but not being consumed by our emotions, but just being able to communicate our emotions from that place of grounded, calm strength, that's when men feel you in a whole different way. And feel you in that shift. And that doesn't have to do with being more in your mind versus your heart. It's just about using your heart in a different way.
Mm-hmm. I really love that you pointed out being able to communicate your emotions, your wants, your needs, your concerns in a grounded, healthy, graceful, mature, composed way.
And we're laughing, ladies, not because we're making fun of any of you, but because it's so easy to get caught up in that, right? And it's not your fault. It just happens, but it's important to recognize it and make sure that you're catching yourself in those moments or after those moments to recalibrate and get back to your center again.
Yes, recalibrating. Absolutely. Because, I think most of us, without training or learning, when we get triggered, it's like we just start attacking, we start demanding, being aggressive, perhaps hitting below the belt and all of this. And that is certainly going to repel men or anybody in your life.
Yes, yes. And I think going back to what you said, about feeling like women may be too much in their hearts and need to be more in their heads. I really disagree with that. I wouldn't say that many, especially if you're an ambitious, driven woman like, you and I both are. I feel like in those modes, we get so caught up into our heads, and we get so caught up in the relationship timeline, and trying to control the situation, even if it's subconsciously, into the way that we want it to go, so we can check the box of being in that relationship. And that really just, it brings this like subconscious energy vortex that just pushes men away and just repels them, because they can feel that energy, that anxiety, and it just makes them go, she's not quite connected with herself. Let me wait and find someone that's more connected with her center.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really important that we do not come across as needy, demanding, controlling, anxious, anxiety ridden. So, do you have any tips for staying centered when we are feeling a lot of anxiety?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, anxiety seems to be like a really, really common theme that I notice amongst many, many women. And
Right.
it really stems from a place of just feeling out of control in being able to get what you want, which is so, so natural, because in every other area of our life, we can go and get what we want for the most part. We set our goal and we make it happen. And
Mhm.
with this area of our life of attracting that incredible man, that's the one area we cannot control. And so that just creates a lot of anxiety. So the first thing I want you to do is just breathe. And just let any of that tension go. And if you feel it in your body, just bring some attention to that area of your body and just breathe it out, because I think a lot of us don't even recognize that we even have that stored sense of tension. And then it just kind of starts constricting us and constricting us. And next thing you know, we're meeting a guy and we're just like, hello. So
Yeah,
let's just breathe, right?
yeah.
And then the next thing I really encourage you lovelies to do is to really just take a second to check in with where that feeling is coming from. What is it trying to communicate? So feelings in their essence are just messengers, and they're just trying to communicate a message. And so instead of trying to push it down and pretend it's not there, you can give yourself the spaciousness either right after that trigger came up, or excusing yourself in the moment and getting some space to just really process and understand what is really going on here below the surface. And then once you've been able to release that energy that's kind of been caught in your body, you can have the message and you can come back and communicate to your man or to the person what it is that you're really needing and feeling.
Hmm. Beautiful. Yeah, it's so important to, like you said earlier, recalibrate. And, you know, when you feel anxious, here's a tip that I can give. A lot of times we can feel triggered, feel neglected, or abandoned, or rejected. And one of the mantras I love to give my clients is, I am enough no matter what any man does or does not do. Literally
Mm-hmm.
reminding yourself so that you can keep detaching from expectation, from needing validation, needing it to go a certain way. Because if he's the right man, he's going to keep showing up for you. And if you're able to communicate your wants and needs gracefully in a feminine way, and he's the right man, then he's going to step up and meet those wants and needs. If he's not the right man, he's not going to do that. And there's no sense in trying to chase, trap, or control a man that isn't the right man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, so good. And that's such a great, great mantra. Absolutely. And I think it's hard because even if we don't even recognize, like, oh yeah, no, I've got good self-confidence. Like I feel good about myself. We still sometimes end up sacrificing ourselves or settling for whatever they'll give us, the breadcrumbs that they'll give us. And that really can lead you down a dangerous path.
Right.
So I think a lot of this feminine energy, like we were talking about, is really just owning that worth. Yeah. And reminding yourself of that worth, like you said, every day, and remembering that you are the prize, my dear, you are the prize. And they are the ones that get to earn that love and that attention from you. It's a drastically different mindset shift and heart set shift in the way you show up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you know, if you know that you're prone to settling, compromising, getting breadcrumb, making too many excuses, staying too long, all of that, it's so important to get support as you're dating, to stay empowered, to
Yes.
remember your worth, to keep building that worth, to keep building that confidence, because
Yes.
that will only lead to attracting better and better men and ultimately the right one and the right relationship.
Yes. Yes. And I would, oh God, that is so good that you bring that up. And I just have to say that I know and recognize it for myself in the very beginning. I was really embarrassed to think that I needed help in this area. And maybe many of our listeners are thinking that too. You know, no, I'm not gonna admit that I need help with relationships. Like, how dumb am I? Right? That's how I felt. But really, that's not the case at all. Because if you think about it, in every other area of our life, we go out and we want to learn a skill, we want to get good at something, we invest in it. Our college education, our
Job training.
sports, anything, dog
Job,
training, yeah.
job training,
Oh.
and dog training. I've spent a lot of money on dog training.
Yeah, but we ask for help. And this seems to be the one area where we don't feel as comfortable in general. It's a theme I've noticed in asking for help. But I just want to make it just completely okay to ask for help in this area, because we have to find those good role models. And if we're not given those good role models already in our life, then we need to find them from someone that really speaks to us.
Yeah, and it's so funny that this is the area people want to compromise on getting help with because it's the most hardest, most complex area, obviously.
Yes. Yes.
Obviously, look at your life. This is probably the one area you struggle with the most. The most. So it makes no sense that you wouldn't receive or invest in an education and support and coaching and training around this. Doesn't make any sense. And to keep turning to girlfriends, you know, and for advice because it's like the blind leading the blind.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you're doing the work that you're doing, Orchid. And I'm so glad to be sistering right next to you and be doing this work as well,
Oh,
because it's so, so important. And I just hear this all the time from women. This work is so important. And
oh,
it's so beautiful to watch the transformations that happen. You know, that's why I got really involved in self-development work and personal growth, because it's just so rewarding at the end of the day.
yeah. Oh, thank you for saying that. You are so
Yeah,
sweet. You're
absolutely.
so beautiful. So glad to have you and so grateful to be sharing this conversation with you and sharing it with all the ladies that are watching. And you know, it is personal development. When you take on learning how to date discerningly, learning how to own your power with men, how to own your voice with men and use it gracefully in a powerful feminine way, you are going to become the highest, best, most incredible, attractive, magnetic, happy, peaceful you have ever been.
Yes. Yes. And I'm speaking from experience, and I know you're speaking from experience, and it's such a fun, powerful energy to exude. I know for me now, like, I have to be careful when I walk down the street, because if I really just like open up my heart, batting away men with a stick, and that's what I'm joking about with clients too. It's like, this is a really, really powerful energy, and it's the most important thing you could ever learn for yourself. Is how do I get connected with her inside, that strong, fierce, tigress, but just beautiful goddess, and all of it wrapped into one. It's just so, so powerful, this energy. It's so juicy, and men are magnetized to it. And I'm loving that you're doing this training so that we can actually get this out there and get women to understand and wake up to realize that you can have it all. Like, you don't have to settle. And
Mm-hmm.
I really feel called too, that this is a mission in our world right now. I feel to redefine what it means to even be a woman in this world, and redefine what even femininity means in today's world. Because
Mm.
it's a really exciting time to be alive. We get to have all the same rights as men, or we're working on it, right?
Uh-huh.
And we get to still have that romantic, chivalrous relationship with men that just respect us for the badass women that we are. So
Mm-hmm.
that's really kind of what I want to sing to the world is, yes, we can have it all.
Yeah, absolutely. We're so lucky that we do have all the same rights now. And it's a different world, than it was when our parents and their parents were alive. Dating is totally different. And I'd love to hear you talk more about how women's empowerment uh, is affecting the consequences, how women's empowerment has affected the consequences of relationships.
Yeah, definitely. This is something I have seen as a really common theme that's been building and growing over the years. And that's part of the reason I've stepped into really doing this work. I've been really seeing like we have such a rise of empowerment growing for women, and it is so beautiful. The women's marches that we've been doing, it's just seeing women come together and really take that next step of saying, no, like we want to be like men. We want to be respected and seen as men. It's really beautiful, but it's having a huge backlash in relationships, because it's basically putting us into this very masculine energy presence where we're wearing the pants, we're leaning in at the boardroom, we're taking charge and running businesses and running families as single moms. We're doing it all, but it's a very like intense hustling energy. And when we try and apply that energy to relationships, it just pushes men out of the table, off the table. They don't even know what to do with us anymore. And that's really where I'm seeing there needing to be a shift and a rebalancing of our world, because otherwise we're going to end up with either men that are not wanting to date. It's already happening. You're seeing this happen in Japan. A lot of men are just choosing to just not date anymore and just be single. And we cannot have this happen. We need to rebalance, remind ourselves of the beautiful qualities of feminine energy as well as masculine energy, and make sure that we're bringing that harmony,
Mm.
unless we want to be attracting very feminine men.
Right. And so for the woman that does want to attract a masculine man, so what are the qualities that she should leave at the office and the qualities that she should bring home in that dynamic where it's like,
Mm.
you really want to keep that polarity of feminine and masculine and make it work beautifully in a relationship? What are the feminine
Yeah.
qualities that women should bring for that to
Oh,
happen?
yes. Beautiful. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this too, to
Yeah,
see what else
yeah.
you have. I think for me, the first one is just the awareness, bringing in the self-awareness. I think a lot of times when we get into the role of the job, we just get sucked in and we go. So this is about pulling our head out of the moment by moment rush and just taking a second to breathe and get present. So that's the first thing. Before you even see your man or go out on that date, just taking a second to just breathe, get present. And then from there, I think it's really about letting go of any expectations that we may accidentally, purposefully be putting onto a man that would then either make us disappointed or make us excited, and just really allowing things to flow exactly how they're going to flow, and staying in touch with how you feel.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I would certainly agree with that.
Yeah. What would you say?
And I would certainly agree with everything you said, and really making sure that you don't make it like a business meeting, because it's very easy to go from work to a date and keep talking about work and keep talking about
Mm.
goals and I don't know, making money or the next thing you're going to do to scale your business, right? So I would definitely, like you said, stay present, perhaps you know do something together where you're actually enjoying the moment, like for instance miniature golf, right? You're doing something together, you're playing a game, you're enjoying life together, just make sure that you set up to have a fun experience rather than like a work meeting
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for those really masculine women out there, which a
Yeah.
lot of successful women have that side.
Yes. Yes. I think too, a lot of it is just an energy presence, right? Of just how you're actually feeling. Are you feeling relaxed being there with this man, or are you feeling uptight and tense? I had a client, she was so caught up in her masculine that she was even having a hard time even being able to look men in the eye when she'd walk by or anything. And through working together, she was really able to just recognize where that was coming from. Is not even being able to look someone in the eyes. It's a defense mechanism, and it's a shutting down of your heart, and it's a very closed off energy. And so whether it's at that level or anywhere where you're just feeling this constriction in your heart when you're around men, that's going to be an indicator that there's some areas for you to loosen up before you're able to really have that genuine connection and be presently authentic or authentically present in the relationship with the
Right.
man.
And be able to have an open heart and to give and receive love rather than staying up in your head, having walls up.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Wow. Well, this has been such a
Yes.
beautiful, nurturing conversation. Thank you so
It
much.
has. Yeah.
What
Absolutely.
what is your free gift for us?
So yeah, I really have loved being able to share this moment with you. And for any ladies that are just intrigued to learn more about what I'm doing, I have a really fun free gift. It's called the 8 Principles to Become Magnetic to Men. It's a free guide, and it's got a ton of juicy tools and really actionable tips that you can use and apply right away to start feeling more empowered in that feminine essence.
Beautiful. All right, ladies, go ahead and click on the link below this video to grab Teal's incredible gift. Thank you again, Teal.
You're welcome, Orchid. We'll talk soon.
Yes, talk soon.
All right. Bye.
For now.